Alright. Hi guys, today we're going to talk about how to earn your first 100k. Just to give a story about myself, I have reached 100k at 25. This is definitely a milestone to many of us. When I started working with the student loans and I had negative net worth, right? I cannot imagine a six-figure portfolio. I cannot even imagine earning 2k, 3k a month. And when I achieved this milestone, when I turned 25 after working for 3 years, I want to give you the confidence that it's very doable. You don't need to attend any expensive courses or invest like Warren Buffett. You just need a discipline and a concrete plan to start earning and saving and investing. So first we'll be going through why is your first 100k so important. So there's a quote by Charlie Munger. He said that the first 100k is a bitch, but once you cross that threshold, your savings and all the assets that you have will do the heavy lifting for you. You make every single cent work for you like they are an employee, and they'll earn more money for you. So money earns more money for you. And why 100k, right? For a start, nothing beats the feeling of having a six-figure sum. It's an additional figure to your net worth, and it's an awesome feeling. When I first hit that amount, it really gave me the confidence that I can actually work towards the seven figures. And this is also where the point where compound interest is significant enough that it becomes snowballing. So compound interest at the beginning, it's really difficult to understand. It seems linear almost because the effect is maybe minor, but when it gets to a significant amount, you can actually see it being exponential. You can see the curve having a curve instead of a linear line. I'll give three reasons, personal reasons, that I think why the first 100k is most important. The first example is on career. I like to call the first 100k FU money. You can tell people to F off and walk away from bad situation. For example, in your work life, if it's toxic, having money, it gives you control. You don't have to work because you have to. You have the option to leave it if you want to protect your mental health. Share a personal example. When I just started working, yes, the norm is to work, and it's not about being inefficient at work that you have to clock longer hours. Even if you have finished your work, you're expected to do more, and incentive to finish work early and do it efficiently, because people judge you by how long you work. And even if you're a very efficient worker and manage to finish all your work earlier, then you'll be given more work and you end up working more than your FTE amount. And I reached this 100k, it gives me the peace of mind that I can leave my job anytime, even without another job lined up. So this FU money gave me the negotiating power. And if I wanted to, I can also negotiate for better working hours, working from home arrangements before COVID, because I'm no longer at the mercy of money. And I think this is very important for all of us. We should all aspire to have FU money one day. The second reason why I think the first 100k is important is for investments. It gives you the holding power for long-term investments. It gives you the opportunity to think in a longer horizon. And most long-term investments results in better opportunity. As the old adage goes, that you can't invest in what you can't afford to lose. So when you can afford to lose slightly more, and you can put a portion of that asset into riskier investments that have the chance to actually compound multiple times, that's when your wealth really starts to grow. When I just graduated and was really poor, I was just really hugging onto my money, and I wanted to invest, but I put my money in really low return investments. This wasn't exactly the money that I wanted to lose especially when I have worked so hard for it. So despite being young, I was so afraid to invest in the growth stocks that have really high potential, a multi-bagger potential. The stable blue chip stocks that I had invested when I was younger, while they are safe, they don't have the potential of being multi-bagger. So if I had the balls to buy the Tesla in 2017, imagine the wealth I would have by now. So I'll just share. So when I just started investing, I still invested in the end, but it was not in really high growth stocks. It was in stable blue chips. And when I really had my first 100K, I became less afraid to fail. And this when I was able to channel a small amount of money to alternative investments that have more growth potential. The third reason of having the first 100K is to start a family. So if you are new, I am a young mom, considerably in today's age. I gave birth when I was 25. So Singapore isn't exactly the cheapest place to give birth, and having a house, getting married, having a baby, within this short 2 years period, really clock out a lot of expenses. So with a little baby at home is another dependent that I'm accountable for, and I'm really glad that I have some money saved up when I was younger in life, and as all these high ticket expenses did delay the wealth accumulation process. So when you have that principal up, at least it can continue to compound without you channeling more money inside. And I really don't regret one bit. I have a lovely, beautiful family, and but I can't really imagine myself providing for another little baby before I have the first 100K saved up. So this really was a very nice cash cushion to have if you want to start your family. And in this video, I'll be sharing with you how you can save your first 100K. And I did it when I started with a lower than average starting pay as a fresh graduate, and if I, such an average person, can do it, I'm sure you can also do it. So I hit it after less than 3 years of working, of discipline, saving, and if I can do it as an average girl, just wanting to achieve some personal financial freedom for myself, if I can do it, you can certainly do it. And you don't even need multiple sources of income. This is just discipline from your day job. If you're from a developed country, earning 2 to 3K even as a lowly paid fresh grad. If you're paid more, that's even easier for you to hit that amount earlier. And how fast you get to your first 100K would depend on a few factors, on how much you save and what rate your returns are giving you. So if we are assuming 0% returns, meaning that we are not even considering that 0.05% that you put your money in the bank that give that mediocre amount of interest, if we completely disregard this and only depend on savings, it is still very likely that you can attain this 100K before you reach 30 years old, which is still quite a good feat, In investments, having a rate of return would just accelerate that time frame. So likelihoods is that if you have a disciplined saving and investment system in place, then you hit the 100K before your 30th birthday. So assuming that you earn 3K a month without considering any bonuses or salary increments, and we follow the 50-30-20 framework of saving money, then we'll have 50% of our monthly paycheck saved every month at 0% rate, and 50% of your monthly paycheck will be 1.5K per month, 18K per year. You would take about 5.5 years to reach your first 100K, which is not bad if you start working at 22, 23 years old. That's before 30 years old. And if you want to further ramp your savings rate up, you'll reach this goal even faster.
This is a table calculating the years needed to reach 100k at different saving rates. And this will be even faster if you have a higher salary or different sources of income.
In a more realistic scenario, as we are getting more savvy and more acquainted to investing, then most of us will put our money in an investment product. Depending on our risk appetite, the investment products that we choose will differ, and this is a table of how long it will take at different investment rates. These 100k save up we mentioned earlier about the compound interest. Look at the number of years shortening to save the additional 100k. This is all considering that the salary stays stagnant, there's no bonuses or progression, and the time frame will just keep shortening. And if we look at the difference investment returns makes before we reach the first 100k, it's actually very negligible. Beginning, the savings is actually more important. And when you want to compound, at the end, when you try to reach your 7th figure, this is when the rate of return actually becomes important, as it will really start to shorten the number of years more significantly. So your net worth begins to take off after we cross the 100k milestone. So in this exercise, we will assume 7% every year from investments, and again we disregard any salary increments and bonuses for more buffer. And this is the math that explains why. Notice how linear the line in the beginning, and approach the 7th figure 1 million milestone, it becomes a curve. It takes on an exponential shape. So this is the beauty of compound interest. Every single dime and dollar will start working for you. Now, compound interest is insane. After the first few years you take to achieve the 100k milestone, the subsequent 100k will take shorter and shorter to get to. Okay, before we end off, I just want to assure everyone not to be discouraged if it takes longer than you hope to save your first 100k. This is the hardest 100k to save, and it will likely take you the longest. Consistent earning, saving and investing, but the road only gets easier after you have reached this 100k milestone. It may be faster or shorter than for you, it doesn't matter, but you will definitely get better and as you build on more wealth. So I hope that this video has given you the confidence and diligence to save up your first 100k, and I'll see you in the next video when we talk about more hacks to wealth and how to further build our wealth, guys. And if you enjoyed this content, do consider subscribing. I'll be posting new content on my blog, on my Instagram, TikTok, and also YouTube, and it will really support me. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.